Sometimes the most amazing discoveries are hidden in desolate corners, where only a drone's lens can capture everything from a shipwreck in the middle of the desert to a mysterious, disappearing lake. Welcome to a new video. Buckle up as we look at 13 of the most amazing sights that will make you wonder what's out there in nature. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Now let's get started. Number 13. A shipwreck in the middle of a desert. Our first stop takes us to the arid landscapes of Namibia, where the sands stretch as far as the eye can see. You can see this sinister region known as the Skeleton Coast, which holds a secret that will leave you scratching your head. Imagine finding a shipwreck in the middle of a desert. It's not something you'd expect to see among endless dunes, but here, amid the swirling sands, lies the wreck of the Edward Bolen, a ship that met an unlikely fate. Launched in 1890 by the German company Warman, this 310-ton passenger and cargo ship sailed for nearly 2 decades, transporting people and goods to their destinations. However, everything changed on September 5, 1909. That day, shrouded in thick fog near Table Bay, the Edward Bolen lost its course. As time passed, the ship was left to the mercy of the elements, and powerful currents dragged its hull onto the shore, where a forgotten relic of the past lay. However, the story didn't end there, as over the years, relentless winds pushed the sands of the coast ever closer to the ocean. Before long, the Edward Bolen was no longer a wreck on the seashore, but a ship stranded in the heart of the desert. Number 12. Prada Boutique. Speaking of deserts, in the vast expanse of the Texas desert lies a Prada store that is pure aesthetic and empty. In the middle of nowhere, like a haute couture mirage, as you approach the small town of Valentine, Texas, something peculiar catches your eye. A pristine, lonely Prada boutique in the middle of nowhere. No, it's not a mirage. This luxury ghost store, known as Marfa, has been there since 2005 and resembles a high-end fashion store, but with a twist. It has no door and has never welcomed any customers. Marfa is the brainchild of Scandinavian artists who were inspired by a real Prada boutique to create this concept store, a work of art they placed right next to a road, far from civilization, as part of an art project that challenges notions of consumerism and luxury despite its isolation. Marfa has attracted the attention of curious travelers and, surprisingly, desert vandals. The location hasn't stopped people from trying to enter the boutique, prompting local authorities to increase security measures at the site. The contrast between the establishment's luxurious appearance and its arid surroundings increases its mystique and charm. Every year, thousands of people pass by, stopping to take a closer look at the strikingly out-of-place building and photographing it. Number 11. The coldest post office in the world. Now, Marfa's post office is a fashion statement in the middle of nowhere, but did you know that the world's most isolated post office is located in Antarctica, officially called the Port Lockroy Post Office? This small outpost isn't surrounded by bustling city streets, but by miles of ice and snow. It's hard to imagine, but in 1944, during World War II, the British built a strategic base at Port Lockroy. Over time, this location has grown from a simple historical base to a fully functioning post office, a charming souvenir shop, and even a museum. It plays an important role in preserving the rich history of Antarctic exploration, and despite its remote location, attracts throngs of visitors. Maintaining a facility like Port Lockroy is no small feat. Imagine the challenges faced by the skilled workers who had to live and work at Port Lockroy for months on end, enduring harsh sub-zero temperatures and without the luxury of modern amenities like plumbing or heating. It's no wonder some consider it their dream job. However, for many of us, an office with a little more warmth would be more appealing. Number 10. A crazy cemetery of rusty cars. Now, you don't have to go to an incredibly remote location to find something cool. A curious man living in North America decided to use his drone to satisfy his curiosity about what was hiding beyond the woods behind his house. What the drone revealed was nothing short of astonishing. It had captured a sprawling expanse littered with thousands upon thousands of abandoned and broken cars, a scene straight out of a dystopian movie where the world had ended and only chaotic piles of rubble remained. But the cars were lined up in neat rows, creating a surreal contrast. The man had never heard of this before. The mysterious car graveyard was not something he was familiar with, so he was dumbfounded. This was no ordinary junkyard, but a vast and eerie assemblage of discarded cars that looked almost out of place in the woods. Questions raced through his mind as he looked at the pictures. Who could have gathered so many vehicles? Was it some secret government operation? Perhaps a private collector obsessed with old cars? Or was there something even more sinister behind this massive collection? Number 9. Ancient armadillos that could have crushed us. The mystery of the car graveyard? It may never be solved, but when this farmer stumbled upon some ancient fossils on the riverbank, archaeologists knew exactly what they were in 2020. He was simply going about his daily routine of driving his cattle along that bank when something caught his eye. Sticking out of the ground were what looked like enormous shell-like fossils, partially buried and worn smooth by time. Little did he know, he was about to uncover a headline-grabbing archaeological treasure. As it turned out, they were the shells of ancient creatures that roamed the earth thousands of years ago, giant armadillos known as glyptodonts. These prehistoric animals were distant relatives of the armadillos we see today. However, unlike the shy little creatures we're familiar with, glyptodonts were enormous, each one about the size of a Volkswagen. Imagine coming face to face with one of these giants. Discoveries like this remind us of the mysterious and wonderful creatures that inhabited the earth long before humans walked its surface. They also highlight the astonishing evolutionary journey undertaken by creatures like armadillos, which have shrunk in size but still wear their iconic protective armor despite their formidable appearance. It's beautiful to imagine a giant armadillo living in a prehistoric landscape. Number 8. The largest stone jars in the world. Now, like the shells of giant glyptodonts, they reveal the ancient giants. The mysterious stone jars of Los Angeles hide long-lost secrets. Buried in the arid plains that sprawl across the landscape are hundreds of enormous stone jars, each as tall as a person and as wide as a barrel. The jars first appeared between 500 BC and 500 AD, but their exact origins and purposes remain a mystery. These jars are believed to have been used as burial funds for cremation. Around many of them, archaeologists have found artifacts. Among these finds were pottery and even human bones, suggesting that these objects may have played a role in ancient burial practices. However, not everyone agrees with this theory. Some experts believe these jars had a more practical purpose. They may have been used to collect and store rainwater during that time. This theory is based on the fact that the region experiences a monsoon season that provides essential supplies for travelers passing through. Unfortunately, many of these jars and their surroundings were not carefully preserved. However, the mystery of the lost stone jars remains, leaving room for imagination and wonder. Perhaps these ancient giants once stored rice wine in these enormous jars, celebrating under the stars, drinking from cups as big as their heads, sharing stories and laughter in a long-forgotten time. Number 7. The oldest wooden statue. The debate over the stone jars of Laos may never end, but a surprising 1894 find in the Ural Mountains revealed an ancient artifact that would change the way we understand history. Deep in the mountains, a group of gold prospectors were hard at work, digging and sifting the earth in hopes of striking it rich when they stumbled upon something buried deep in the mine. It wasn't a gold nugget or gemstone, but a long, eerie wooden statue. This strange artifact, now known as the Shigar idol, would soon be recognized as the oldest wooden figure ever discovered. Estimated to be at least 12,500 years old, it stood about 5 m tall, towering over those who gazed upon it over the years. The statue has worn over time, and not all of it has survived. There are many theories about the Shigar idol's purpose. Some believe it could have been a marker for a sacred space. Whatever the reason for its creation, the Shigar idol stands as a remarkable historical landmark that offers us a tantalizing glimpse into the lives and beliefs of the people who lived in the Ural Mountains thousands of years ago. Number 6. Is Bigfoot really real? For its part, the Shigar idol unraveled ancient mysteries. In 2019, a more recent enigma was solved: the disappearance of an imposing large-footed statue from a North Carolina landscaping office. This place was just an ordinary office, except for one unique detail: a large, standing statue. The statue, which stood almost 2 m tall and weighed around 80 kilograms, stood proudly inside, towering over visitors. However, one day the statue vanished without a trace. For months, local people searched high and low for it, but no sign of it appeared. It was as if it had vanished on its own, leaving no trace behind. Then one day, deep in the woods and in the middle of nowhere, someone stumbled upon the statue, which was surrounded by trees. A 30-minute walk from the landscaping office, the discovery raised more questions than answers. Some believe it was all a hoax by someone with a strange sense of humor. Perhaps they wanted to start a rumor about the existence of a real-life Bigfoot roaming the woods, scaring anyone who dared to venture too far off the beaten path. One thing's for sure: after that strange adventure, it's unlikely anyone will want to move Bigfoot again. Number 5. A collection of creepy statues. Just as the return of Big Rock baffled many, imagine finding a forest clearing in Japan filled with hordes upon hordes of statues. It's as if you've stumbled upon an eerie open-air theater, with the statues like a ghostly audience waiting for a performance that will never come. This haunting scene is the work of Mutsuo Furukawa, a freelance artist from Toyama Prefecture. His sculpture garden is an unconventional marvel, featuring over 800 statues, each meticulously designed to evoke a sense of peace and calm. The statues were meant to embody a Buddhist calm, offering a moment of meditation and reflection to anyone who stumbled upon this hidden gallery. However, as the statues weathered, they began to change. Now the weathered, weather-beaten statues take on an eerie appearance. The effect of this almost otherworldly transformation is profound. What was meant to be a haven of calm now evokes a sense of dread and unease. The statues that were once symbols of tranquility now seem to watch with ghostly eyes, their silence more menacing than peaceful. The forest glade has become a place where the sense of calm is replaced by an intense need to leave, to escape the feeling of being watched by countless silent sentinels. Number 4. Mysterious steel monoliths. Now, just as Japan's statues transitioned from symbols of peace to eerie sentinels, the appearance of mysterious monoliths in Wales and Utah sparked similar intrigue and speculation from a hilltop vantage point. Residents spotted an unusual sight: a towering column standing alone on a desolate hillside. This column reached about 3 meters in height and was made of a gleaming metal that sparkled in the sunlight. Its solitary presence in such an isolated location made it even more mysterious. However, the intrigue didn't end there, as not long before another similar monolith was discovered in the vast Utah desert. The monoliths, with their unique design and lack of obvious function, provided no clues as to their purpose. Then, as if to add another twist to the story, it turned out that these monoliths were actually a work of modern art. A group of avant-garde artists had decided to make a bold statement by placing these steel columns in the most random and isolated corners of the world. Their goal was to create a stir that would make people stop and wonder about the meaning of these strange structures. However, despite their spectacular nature and surprising appearances, the group never provided any concrete explanation or concept behind their installation. Number 3. A spiral towards the desert. Now, while the monoliths were revealed as a modern art installation, a different kind of mystery emerged in the Eastern Sahara, an enigmatic pattern carved into the desert floor. It was so striking and unusual that it seemed almost otherworldly. The intricate design of mounds and depressions formed a vast and enigmatic work of art that seemed completely out of place in that harsh, arid environment. However, the real mystery is how such a grandiose structure could appear in such an extreme location. The answer to this mystery is a little less mystical, but no less fascinating. The installation is called Breath of the Desert and was created by human hands. This extraordinary work of land art covers an area of approximately 100 hectares. The design is composed of swirling mounds and depressions that create a mesmerizing pattern that seems to dance with the desert winds. The artists anticipated that the harsh desert conditions, constant winds, and shifting sands would gradually erode the installation. Over time, nature would soften the once clear lines, and the shapes would blend seamlessly into the desert landscape. The idea was that future generations wouldn't need to dismantle the artwork. Instead, the process of erosion and natural weathering would take care of it. Number 02. Strange lines in the Gobi Desert. Next up, we have another mystery in a desert as vast and intricate as the Gobi Desert, right in the middle of the wilderness bar. Something truly peculiar catches your eye, an intricate pattern of strange lines etched into the desert floor. It's not just any pattern, it's enormous and stretches across the landscape in a way that makes it visible from space, so it's not a mere coincidence or a random natural formation. The magnitude and precision of these lines are astounding, leading to a flood of theories and speculation about their origins and purpose. Some people suggest these markings could be military calibrations or sophisticated technological setups, while another, more intriguing theory suggests extraterrestrial involvement. Could these lines be an alien airfield or a mark left by visitors? The idea of them being otherworldly sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but given the sheer amount of mystery surrounding these markings, it's a possibility that captures the imagination. The only thing we know for sure is that these markings have been in the desert for a long time, and what their true purpose might be. They could be ancient remnants of a long-vanished civilization or modern creations with a number of unknown significance. Number 01. The mysterious lake that disappears. These explorers could use modern tools to discover kingdoms, but ancient sites like this lake reveal their own mysteries. This lake, formerly known as Pachi by indigenous people, was a vital center of life and the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi River. In its day, it was the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River served as a vital center for the surrounding ecosystem when settlers arrived in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Their desire to transform the landscape for agriculture led to the deliberate draining of Tar Lake. The once great body of water was reduced to a fraction of that amount. Over the years, the lake developed a peculiar habit of disappearing and reappearing, often linked to cycles of heavy rain and snowmelt. However, in 2023, after a series of intense storms and torrential downpours, the lake re-emerged with a vengeance, spreading across vast swaths of land, covering fields and roads, and restoring its former grandeur, if only briefly. The lake's return was a wonder and a reminder of nature's power and resilience. We've reached the end of this video. Tell us what you think in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. See you next time.